Happy New Year, everyone. Hello and welcome to In the Kitchen with Matt. I am your host, Matt Taylor. Today, I'm going to show you how to make a chocolate mousse. Oh yeah. I had a request to make a chocolate mousse, so here we go. That's what we're going to do. If you follow my show, you know that I love chocolate desserts and all things chocolate. And this is a great, super easy recipe using very few ingredients. It's a classic French dessert. If I can do it, you can do it. Let's get started. Down below in the description box, you'll find the list of the ingredients and their amounts. First, we want to start by melting our chocolate. I'm using a 70%, 72% dark chocolate. So this is a very high quality chocolate, and you can use a cheap semi-sweet chocolate chip if you want. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just melt this in the microwave, burst of 20 seconds, stir until it's almost completely melted, and then it will, as it sits, it'll melt the rest of the way. Or just use a double boiler, which pretty much would be like a small pot that this is bigger than, and there would be a little bit of water in there, and you let turn the stovetop on, and the steam, this would sit right on top of the pot. The steam would come up and just heat up the bowl and then slowly melt the chocolate. That's a classic double boiler method. All right, the chocolate is nice and melted. And that was about 5 ounces of chocolate. It was like 1.5 of the 3.5 ounce of bars that you can get at the supermarket. And I just chopped them up finely, or about a cup worth. All right, and I'm gonna set this aside. And now we want to whip our cream. I have 1 3/4 cups of cold, heavy whipping cream. Place that in this large bowl here. And we want to beat this until we get soft peaks. Alright, so until we get to the soft peak stage, where it still kind of holds its shape a little bit, but it will fold over. That's what we want, okay? Now I'm going to set this aside and clean the beaters so they are fresh for the egg whites. So we want to separate the yolks from the egg whites because we just want the egg whites. Some recipes will actually use the yolk as well, but we are not going to use the yolk. We're just going to use the egg whites in this one. And also some recipes will use a little bit of butter as well. Oh, got a little bit of it in there. It's okay. Just dig it out a little bit. You really don't want the egg yolk in there at all, so you can just dig some of it out with your shell. And just transfer the yolk from side to side like this, and you can get the egg white. All right, and now we're gonna beat this also until we get soft peaks, and once it starts to thicken up, we're going to slowly add in our 2 tablespoons of white granulated sugar. All right, so those are soft peaks. They hold their shape kind of, but then they fold over a little bit, and the bubbles that I've made are really, really, really tiny. Okay? Now what we want to do is we are going to take our chocolate and we'll pour it in here. Take a spatula. Scoop all that yummy chocolate into our egg whites. And then we're going to just fold it all together. Don't stir, just fold. All right, and once we have the egg whites nice and incorporated, we are going to put in our whipped cream. I'm just going to do a little bit at a time here. One thing to note is if your chocolate is too warm and then you dump all of the cream, cold whipped cream in at once, it could cause the chocolate to kind of seize up a little bit and make a gritty texture. The overall flavor will still be fine and you could still eat it. It just might be a little bit of a gritty texture. So that's just something to keep in mind. It might take a couple tries of making it to get it down, but overall it's a very easy dessert to make. Also, I want to note, if you want it to be a little bit more rich in chocolate flavor, then add in a little bit more chocolate. Or you could add less of the cream. Like you can save some of this cream afterwards to go on top. If you want. And so the technique of just adding it a little bit at a time, especially at the beginning stage, is in a sense tempering the chocolate and bringing it more slowly back to temperature when it was once really warm, if that makes sense. But look at how nice and smooth that looks. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that incredible? Nice and smooth. Doesn't look gritty at all. All right, once it's all incorporated, this is ready to go. You can leave it in this bowl and chill it for a couple hours and then scoop it. Or what we can do is I'm going to take these wine glasses. I will come in here with an ice cream scoop and plop it in there. So nice and smooth and creamy. You can also use like a piping bag if you want and pipe it in with a cool design. And this recipe makes about 4 to 6 servings depending on how big of a cup you use. And now chill these in the refrigerator for a couple hours before serving, and we'll go to that point. And then after it's chilled, come in here with some whipped cream. And then I made some chocolate shavings. Just sprinkle those on top. Pretty neat, right? And then I want to show you what it looks like when you dig into it. Yeah. The perfect texture. Incredible. And that is how I make chocolate mousse. Really easy to do, simple ingredients. If I can do it, you can do it. A couple of troubleshooting tips. If your mousse turns out a little bit grainy in texture, most likely the chocolate cooled down too quickly. So what you can do is just introduce your egg whites a third at a time and fold them in a third at a time, and that'll help bring the temperature of the chocolate down slower. And also, if you chill your bowl when doing the whipped cream, it'll make the whipped cream go quicker. I'm Matt Taylor. This has been another episode of In the Kitchen with Matt. Thank you for joining me. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or requests, put them down below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thumbs up, down the corner, push it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and check out my other videos. Take care. Time for me to dive into this. Oh yeah. Mmm.